Come out to the bar.
Hello YouTube, cheers, and welcome to the basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
The basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. Today we have a live studio audience, yo. Make some noise.
Yo, Calvin X in the building, baby.
Bro.
Calvin X in the building.
Alright, listen, today we ask, is hip-hop sexist? Or do the new Instagram models, thought, culture, undermine any claim of sexism in hip-hop? It's a tough question. It's a serious question. We're going to try to tackle it today. With that being said, let go.
Come out to the box, boy.
Is hip-hop sexist? By itself, no. But the first thing we got to do is ask the question, what is sexism? Okay, because I want you to go into this. I want you to talk about it. But let's define this. Sexism, prejudice or discrimination based on sex. But there's another term, there's another definition that's less used. Behavior, conditions, or attitudes that foster stereotypes based on sex. Let me say that again. Behavior, conditions, or attitudes that foster stereotypes based on sex. For example, D-Boy Slim. What do you think about Michelle A saying she got beat up by all them folks? Holla at me.
I'm glad you asked that question. You want to get right into it.
Hey,
All right.
I'm about to show you.
Let's get right into it. I thought it was ridiculous and absurd. I think it brings us to this old question of, why did you wait so long? Why did you wait 20 to 25 years? Is your word credible? Now, that you've seen the Dr. Dre movie and you wasn't in it. And, now you come out with these allegations or these claims that he beat on you. When you claimed that it was going on, you said nothing. But I don't believe this lady. And I believe the claims are absurd and how she tried to project and make Dr. Dre look. Give me your thoughts on it.
Do you think Dr. Dre was her boss?
Do I think Dr. Dre was her boss?
Yeah, it was Dr. Dre her boss.
I think Dr. Dre was her part-time lover.
I think Dr. Dre was her part-time lover.
That's what I think.
It wasn't he wasn't her boss. He
No.
couldn't help her get up in the ladder of hip hop or music.
Of course he could help her. That doesn't make someone your boss.
This is the attitude that fosters stereotypes based on sex. What happens is, the first thing you want to say is you want to find out if this woman is lying or what's going on. And the first idea you have is that she has to be lying because she didn't say anything. You don't think about the fact that if she's trying to get up in the corporate ladder or in the musical ladder, the same person that's abusing her is the same person that could make her a superstar. This is called sexism. In the workplace, they call it sexual, what was that? Not sexual assault, but in the workplace, it's sexism as well. When a woman comes into the office of the boss, and the boss says, oh, you want that promotion? Just give me a little, you know what I mean? Oh, you want that raise? Just give me a little, you know what I mean?
Just give me a little, you know what I mean?
Sexism. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. Tell me now this. I'm trying to define sexism so you see where I'm coming from. Keke Palmer said that she was taped inappropriately without her permission by Trey Songz. What do you think about that?
This is a grown woman that's been on movie sets with the likes of Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. Says that on a video set with Trey Songz at a music video shoot, she felt so overwhelmed and compelled to do or be in a video that she didn't want to be a part of. She ran to a closet and hid. Now, that's all I know about, what was said. Trey Songz, Trey Songz' response was, he didn't even give it any validation. He didn't even choose to entertain it. I from his response, it sounded like he thought it was so frivolous and so beneath him, and him not being involved in the situation that he says he doesn't have time to address every situation or every instance where somebody says he did them wrong. So, and once again, if she was held against her will, or she felt that she was intimidated or harassed to do something that she didn't want to do, who did she tell? What authorities did she go to? What was done about this, other than her going to Instagram saying, "Oh, they put me in a video I didn't want to be in. There was Trey Songz video, and I hid in the closet, and they seen me in the closet laughing." Or they was laughing.
I'm asking you this,
in the
man.
closet.
What was that? First of all, once again, the onus is on the woman.
She said herself, it sounds like a joke.
Second of all, what was your first response when you heard it? It was, what was she doing there?
Her words, it sounded like a joke. Right, yeah.
What was she doing there? You know why you asked what was she doing there? Because the attitude that fosters the stereotypes, if she was there, she meant to do it. No, that's what I was trying to get to.
That's not why you asked that. If someone has a claim, you ask them because we know this is not a perfect world and people don't always tell the truth. That's why you ask, what were you doing there? Because in many cases and instances, the woman was there for some type of gain, whether that be financial or otherwise.
Now you see, and the mere fact that you believe that,
it's not a belief, that's a fact.
Is that a fact?
You saying that hasn't happened?
Are you saying that happens every time?
I didn't say that.
So what I'm
saying
saying
that
is,
happens.
you just said
the mere fact that happens is why you have to question it. That's what I said.
So let me say it like this.
That's what I said.
Let me say it like this.
Don't put words in my mouth.
No, these attitudes provide the conditions that foster the stereotypes. If a woman does this or if a woman does that, the first person you ask is, well, was it her fault? Was she there for this or was she there for that? Instead of saying, well, wait a minute, let me listen to what she has to say and take it on face value. And then when Trey Songz says it didn't happen, the first thing you go is, well, it obviously didn't happen. You're gonna believe the guy over the girl because you believe that these girls are thoughts. And every time they come through, there's a lot of people, a lot of women who aren't like that. And when they have that same attitude, stops them from coming out and saying the truth, because they know the minute that they say, well, this happened to me, the first thing that happens to them is they get questioned. They not only get questioned, but they get disbelieved. So instead of going through the ridicule of that, I mean, can you imagine how that feels when you say, I've been violated, and the minute you say that, 100 dudes step up and go, did you want it? Did you really mean it? No, I don't believe you. That's hard to deal with, so they don't say nothing. Now, that's just me trying to show this definition of sexism. I brought you two different examples and tried to show exactly your response to them so we can see exactly how different our response is from a female. Now, that's my definition of sexism. And it's pervasive. It's pervasive even when we don't know it, guys. It's what it is. Continue, talk about them thoughts. It's your turn.
Well, Bruce, you pointed out a few examples, and I definitely take your point into consideration. However, our stances are slightly different, as they usually are.
Mm-hmm.
Where you see it as the glass being half empty, I see it as the glass being half full.
Expound.
I say that. You gave the example of Michelle,
okay,
whom after 20 years decided to come out and say that Dr. Dre abused her so bad. and Keke Palmer, whose story sounds sketchy at best because we don't have enough facts to piece together who, what. We have the where and when, and that's about it. Let me give a couple examples. The root question was, is hip-hop sexist?
Yes.
Or do the new Instagram model, thought culture, undermine any claim of sexism in hip-hop?
Outstanding.
Let's touch on that for a second. First of all, I don't buy into the new Instagram model and thought culture.
Okay.
Simply because there was a culture that surrounded hip-hop and entertainment, period, for the longest. Mm-hmm. If you go back to sex, drugs, and rock and roll, before women were called thots, we could just go and call a spade a spade. There are holes that exist within inside the entertainment industry.
Groupies.
If you choose not to pay attention or act like they pretend that they don't exist, or just naive to where you don't know that with money and fame comes groupies, as my man said, but I'm gonna call them hoes because at a certain point, my man always says, you know, we give people passes, and you know, usually we're talking about the rappers and the way they're faking, or how, like my man's over here says, you know, they go from riches to back to rags. Well, today we're talking about the women, obviously, and their involvement in hip hop, and is hip hop sexist? Hip hop itself, hip hop is a culture, first of all. If you know, besides being a genre of music, hip hop is a culture. So is hip hop sexist towards women? No, I don't believe so. Now, can individuals be sexist towards women? Sure, that happens in the workplace, as my man alluded to. Let me give a couple examples as to what I'm talking about. Before there was an Instagram, or a Facebook, or a MySpace, or a Twitter, there were still video vixens. There were still groupies. You said name a couple? Sure. Superhead, Corinne Steffens. You see, everybody wants to say, oh, they're being victimized and they're being exploited. There are women that exist within inside this industry. Their sole purpose is to get on, however, wherever, whatever it takes, period. They don't care what you... She coined the name Superhead. Superhead. You understand? I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute.
When you're ready, I can go, man.
So, pardon us for questioning when a woman says, "Oh, I was here and he beat me up," or "Yeah, he held this position over my head and I stayed around and took the abuse." It's absurd. It's absurd. These women put themselves in certain positions. And it's whatever. They let
so the men have...
Excuse me. I'll let you speak. Let me speak now.
Go ahead, brother.
They let the whole team... Let me explain some of the things that go on with inside the industry, to my knowledge. There were times when they let the whole team hit it. There are times when they let the whole squadron, dudes run with street teams, 2 and 20 and 30 dudes at a time, going on tour and going behind stage. There are times when these women don't care what they're doing, how they unprotected, whatever. So it's some of these same women that are making these claims and allegations, is my point in all of this.
Yeah.
And which is why, at best, us questioning whether their word is valid or their word is credible is not far-fetched. It is not sexist. It's simply a fact that, and I think it happens more times than not, it's simply a fact that with the success of these rappers and these artists comes the groupies, comes the women right off the street with no talent, no skills, but their body. offering. That's what they're serving up. That's why they come with no clothes on to the video shoot, to the backstage, to the shows. This is why they do. This is why they on Instagram shaking their ass. They have no. There is no boundaries. There is no filter. So we can call them thoughts. We can call them hoes, but we're not going to call them victims. We can't call these women victims. They're not victims. They're thoughts, hoes, video vixens, superheads, whatever you want to call them. They're the ones that you don't want to bring home to your mom.
They're the ones that you don't want to bring home to your mom.
So, no. The answer to that question, with the question was, is hip hop sexist? No. Can it be? Of course. Just like in any other genre of entertainment, music, or in any other workplace. Sure, there can be individuals that can be sexist towards women or abuse their position and to try to gain sex from women. Sure. Does that happen? Sure. We would have to do another show to find out the numbers of that versus the groupies that are along in hip hop. And just how much of a culture that is. The video vixens.
Okay.
Facts.
May I speak now?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that outstanding dissertation. I believe your points are valid and they will be taken into account. Now, I have two things to say in response. Number one is hip-hop sexist, or are the few people in hip-hop sexist? I will say this. Hip-hop is a misogynistic culture. Yes. It is. It is. Those same video vixens, those same whatever it is, the thoughts, the hoes, the whatever you want to call them, also realize that if they are not thoughts and hoes and vixens, they will not get on the video, because the culture of hip-hop has made it as such a over-masculated art form that unless you're willing to do those things, you won't get on the video. I would bet you that there are 100 women that would love to be in those videos, but don't. Are they thoughts? No. Because what we choose to portray is that. Because we like to shake our ass to the bitches with their thongs on. We could have easily, like Common, put girls in the video with their head wraps and fully dressed. He does it. But the overall culture of hip-hop is misogynistic, and we have to come to terms with that, whether we think it's cool or not, or whether we agree with it or not. I agree, there are some thoughts, and they make it bad for the rest of them. But the culture of hip-hop is pervasively misogynistic, which is also sexist. Point number two, I'm gonna revert to racism. Now, because you see this thought do this and this girl named Superhead do that, you think that, well, those girls put themselves in that situation, and every time every girl is in that situation, I refer to Superhead. There are a lot of white folks that'll say a black guy robbed me, and every time I see a black guy now, I'm gonna say that they're all thugs. Hey, I saw on the news it was 5 black kids that robbed this home. These black guys are thugs. They're niggers. Look at them. Look how they act. Look how they act. They're niggers. What you do is you take the act of 1 or 2 or 10 people and place that blame on the entire race. Just like when you take the acts of Superhead and these super thoughts, you basically put that on the entire sex of women. Their expectations. I have daughters, and when they see that the only way to get into a person of wealth arms is by dressing the sluttiest, is by doing the most of this and the most of that, they are now being expected to do this, and if they don't do this, they're no longer worthy. And so you push them. We can easily push them. Today's world, boxes women in the expectation of sex only. That's all they're good for. If a woman does come and say, hey, let's make a video about me in a business suit, the rapper would say no. And you're lying if you think I'm wrong. There's only a few that wouldn't. That's called sexism through expectation. I have to teach my daughters every day. Don't fall into these expectations. These guys expect you to do certain things that you don't need to do. Respect yourself. But if no one's there to teach them that, it's called sexism through expectations. Thoughts can be a product of low expectations forced on them through conditioning, which we have conditioned them with through an over-masculated hip-hop culture, and that's all I'm going to say.
You hear yourself?
I hear myself. Have you heard me?
Did you hear yourself?
Did you hear me?
If they're not taught, then it's sexism.
So what role do we play in it? Is it always their fault, or do we take advantage of that?
First of all,
Is my question.
obviously you do play a role personally, because as you alluded to, that you're raising daughters. So I think you play a position on the other side of that spectrum. Second, it's sexism when someone forces the issue. It's not sexism if you don't know any better and you place yourself in a certain position.
May I wait, no, I know. I just want to. Sexism, by definition, why I said that earlier, conditions or attitudes that foster stereotypes based on sex.
Right.
That is sexism when the conditions and the attitudes foster the stereotype that you have to be this way, and they conform.
What we're going into is probably maybe a bigger problem in society.
Now we're getting there.
Sexism does exist.
Now we're getting there.
I would not, be telling you the truth if I told you that sexism didn't exist. And it's not. My point in that is because it's not just hip hop. It's any workplace that you may go into. The question, however, was, is hip hop sexist? And here's my point. I think it's highly offensive and disrespectful when you say that the only positions women can get is if they're offering up sex, and we condition that. You take away from women such as Queen Latifah, women such as Mona Scott, that have worked hard and went from the bottom and didn't have to offer themselves or sex to get where they were at. Those are names that are bosses right now. They're icons. Also Missy Elliott. And I say these names because those are not the sexiest women per se, but they managed.
I like Queen Latifah. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They managed to make their way opposite of what we're talking about in these stocks, and not offering up their bodies and offering up something else, which is skill. They actually have a skill set. Now, let's get back to the thoughts. Say my point is being long and drawn. I got you. I looked up the definition of a hoe. This is why I chose to use the terminology hoe. I googled
I can't with this guy, man.
and definition. Right? A woman or man that will fuck anybody walking is what the definitions say. Y'all can Google it. That's a fact. We cannot sit up here and say these women are victims if they are hoes.
How do we know?
How do we know?
How do we know?
Other than going around and asking Irv Gotti, how many times or how many of your niggas fucked Superhead.
We don't.
We do know, though. We do know. These women are hoes.
I know it.
My man, Calvin X, who's an up-and-coming artist out here, y'all check for his album. He's telling you, they're hoes. I know it personally, and you know it. You know it.
I can't say they're all hoes. I also know black guys that are thugs.
And this is what my point was. We want beautiful women in our videos, just like we want beautiful women on our movies. Tyler Perry is not sexist, or Spike Lee is not sexist, or John Singleton is not sexist.
Tyler Perry dresses as a fat black lady.
When he puts beautiful women in his movies, he also puts Janet Jackson, Nia Long, and other beautiful women in this movie.
Facts.
This is not sexist. There are probably beautiful women that were turned away from the part or the position because they wasn't right for the role of the position. Period.
In hip-hop,
if you offer up sex, and this is why I say, if you offer up sex to Pharrell, he's still not going to put you on his song. And this is why I can't say that hip-hop is sexist. If you offer up sex to Diddy, he's still not likely to put you on his song. So I can't sit up and say that hip-hop is sexist. I've yet to hear any claims that Diddy was sexist with any of the women that he's worked with. I've yet to hear Pharrell or Timbaland or any other of the big-time producers. So when the question is proposed to me, is hip-hop sexist? I can't see how it is. You have to explain to me how it is. Other than the fact there is thoughts and there are claims from women. I won't say their thoughts, but we'll say there are claims from women
I'll say
that have claimed to have been sexually abused or sexually harassed or whatever or what have you.
And I don't want to go into the abuse. I just want to make that clear. I'm not.
Well, you brought up Michelle.
Yeah, I did that to define sexism,
like
but I want to make sure that they know this. Hold on, I want to make sure I am not equating sexual abuse with sexism in hip hop. Please understand that was something that I brought up to explain the idea of sexism and our thought as men from what women say. I don't think that sexism in hip hop is equal to abusing women. Please understand that, and there's a big difference. If you abuse women, you're a bum. So stop it right there. If you have women in your video, you're not an abuser of women.
Sexism is wrong too.
So I wanted to say that.
Let me make that clear. I'm not sitting up here defending sexism.
Facts.
Sexism is wrong in itself.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the question was, is hip hop sexism?
And you say no.
And so that's my final point in it.
I think sexism through expectations is when you look at all of the videos, 99 out of 100 of them are in a strip club and one of them has a woman fully clothed. And I think that's just the idea is if you want to get in the video, you better do this. It's just like at work when a woman says, I want a raise. So if you want a raise, you better do this. If you want the position, you better do this. It's not all women are all our thoughts. But what it is we portray that in our videos because that's what we want to see. And that in turn extends sexism. But I also hear what you're saying. The point is, what do you think? We want you guys to put right down there in the comments. Is hip-hop sexist? Or do THOTs, Instagram models, undercut that claim of sexism? Are rappers just doing what they see, talking about what they see, which is THOTs every day? Or do they push that on them and make that into the misogynistic culture that I think hip-hop has become? It's a big question. It's a big question. What do you guys think, studio audience?
Well, I don't think you brought up one question. Are female rappers coming up right now in the game? I mean, is it as far as can a female rapper become successful? That's what I'm saying. Because
Well, Nicki Minaj is one of the most successful rappers out right now.
So is it sexist? That's
What I'm saying is, could she have done it without putting her butt on camera all day long? That's sexism.
Look at Young and May. Even though
Young and May.
Even though she is okay, even though she is a gay female rapper, she's still a female rapper coming up. She's still doing the thing. Are they holding her back? I wouldn't.
And she's not selling sex.
Yeah,
she's not selling sex.
She's one of the few. She's one of the few.
And while we on that, let's not get it misunderstood. It's not sexism because you're selling sex. That's not sexism. You could say sexual exploitation, and that's something totally different. But as we know, it's proven since the beginning of time, sex sells. And so if you have sexy women in the video, it's likely, it's doing it because that's strategy and sex sells. But is that sexism to a woman? I don't know. I don't think so.
These are questions, Joe. We ask the tough questions. We debate the tough questions.
I still see female rappers coming up in the game. I still see them getting up to the elite high level that male rappers are at. So I don't really see that in the actual rap game. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think sexism is. I think the question is this.
What's your name?
Rogue.
Producer Rogue.
Yo, I think sexism is a thing in the country in itself. So if you're trying to single out, I think it's not fair to single out hip hop. It'd be like if you had HIV
Wow.
and they said, "Hey, which part of you's infected?" The whole thing is
right.
So to say is there sexism in hip hop is not the question.
There's
America is
sexism in the
sexism.
culture.
So if you put out any random building, any office building in America, chances are there's sexism in that building, right? Because the country is sexist by whole. So the country, the question to me is not is there sexism in hip hop? Anything that's
our
dominated,
society sexist.
right? Anything that's dominated by males is gonna be sexist.
Period.
Yeah. So, but I think it would be unfair to single
That's a
out
fact.
hip hop in particular to say it's sexist. I mean, come on. I'm sure the headquarters of Exxon is sexist. I mean, like, that's the question to me. What is the real question?
Okay. Wow, this was a good one. I don't even know if I'm going to edit this one. You guys might need to see the whole thing. Put your comments right down there. Listen, go to opinionrecords.webs.com. Buy these beats that you're hearing right now, okay? Calvin X, his album is out. Go to audiomac.com. We got another one coming up actually in a couple of days, a new album. What's it called?
Dope Wave.
Dope Wave. Also, Rogue, the producer. We got stuff coming from him too, man.
Night Rider coming soon.
Night Rider coming
EP
soon.
coming soon.
Listen, we love having these debates. Thank you for being with us. This is going to be a long one. I may not even edit it because you guys need to hear stuff like this. And we got to have a conversation. Leave your comments, buy the beats, subscribe, like. We got shout outs. Symphony number 9. Now, this is in response to our inaugural special. Symphony number 9 says, "We are just retarded because we have no idea who Trump really is." As if that's his best friend. He knows who Trump really is, right?
You believe that?
Yeah, man. I don't know why y'all Republicans keep using that retarded and retard and all that stuff. It's offensive, man. Stop calling us that. It's ridiculous, man. People have real problems out here, man. You can't just use names like
Keep it
that.
up. Just keep it up. I like it.
But guess what, man?
Draco.
We thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for responding. And your point matters to us too. We might be retarded. You have your opinion. So thank you, Symphony number 9. With that being said, that's everything, guys. We put the point out there. We want you to respond, and the show is about y'all.
We got it.
Peace.
Got it work on me right now, be what hands.
No shot.
Got it herb on me right now, be what hands.
Okay.
I just take over the city, all the day, get some planning. Come on and get down with the squad, bitch, you know it be jamming. Got the shoes on me right now, be what hands.